To help or not to help? That is the question. Contribution is one of the 6 basic human needs. We need to feel as if we are able to lend our energy to others, and we need to feel as if that energy that we lend to others is of use and of value to them. We are inherently giving. We need to feel as if we are capable of giving our energy to a co-creation. Otherwise, we feel as if we have an empty life. Even the studies on altruism in young children prove that inherently we are driven to help each other. We're driven to help each other on a daily basis. We're called towards opportunities where we can help each other on a day-to-day basis. That means that throughout your life, you're walking through your day, and you confront situations where you could lend your energy to people. I'm not here to debate today whether helping is a good thing or a bad thing. I think we can all agree that help is innately a high vibrational endeavor. But it's not always a good idea to help people, especially when we're wanting to help people for the wrong reasons. Society considers help to be one of the basic things which makes a person good. Altruism makes you a virtuous person, according to society. And indeed, many of us feel like helping is our primary purpose and role in life. But for those of us who are considering helping someone, it is incredibly important that we make sure that we are doing it for the right reasons. Natural helpers are people who we think of as selfless givers, even to the point of self-sacrifice. They are people-pleasing, empathetic, warm-hearted, sincere, sentimental, and generous. Their most basic driving desire is to be loved, but there is usually great childhood sadness in them as a result of emotional neglect in their early relationships. They were often the parentified child in their family, the little adult or the little peacemaker that parents counted on to not give them any trouble. They learned that the way to be noticed and gain their significance was to be extra good and to always be there for other people. Unfortunately, since the real meat of their empathy is based on the projection of their own emotional deprivation, they exaggerate the helplessness and neediness of others. And because emotional deprivation is rarely labeled as such, these people have no idea why they feel a lifelong chronic sense of being overlooked. Deep down, they fear being unwanted and unworthy of love. And it is because of those desires and fears that the shadow side of the helper begins to show its face. The helper will often help purely to get love and to be wanted and needed. They can slip into self-sacrifice, play the role of a martyr, and trap people in states of powerless dependence on them. An aspect of their emotional self has not evolved past their childhood experience. Beneath the surface, helpers fear that they are without value in themselves, and so they still think that they must be extra good and do things for other people in order to win love and acceptance from others. Because of this extreme emotional deprivation lurking beneath the surface of the helper, their efforts to help in order to be noticed and loved often dead end, and instead of being loved and accepted and appreciated for their help, they go unnoticed and are even resented for the help that they give. I want to talk for a little bit about the shadow side of helping. When we consider ourselves to be helpers, when that's our central role in life, we feel called to that mission of help. We tend to contain all of the shadow aspects of helping, but any of us who are thinking about seizing an opportunity to help someone need to consider the shadow aspects of help. Most of the shadow aspects about helping revolve around the idea of helping for the wrong selfish reasons. Every motivation in this universe is inherently selfish. You cannot actually help someone for unselfish reasons, regardless of what you've heard. This is because at our most basic soul level, we know that there is no such thing as separation. Making the collective happy makes us happy. Making ourselves happy makes the collective happy. If we are honest with ourselves, seeing other people feel good makes us feel good. So even though we may care about them, we are ultimately helping others to feel good because it makes us feel good. But we can help for the right selfish reasons or the wrong selfish reasons. Helping for the wrong selfish reasons means we are using help to manipulate others. The first shadow aspect of helping people is helping someone when we haven't been asked, and then acting angry, resentful, or passive-aggressive when they do not show us appreciation. It is tempting when we want appreciation, which is in fact a form of love, to not jump on the opportunity to help someone, and we're absolutely convinced that that help is going to be well received. But the other person can tell that our motives for helping them is not pure. We want something from them. We want that attention and appreciation from them. And because that's a sucking energy instead of a giving energy, they'll inherently have resistance to us. And this, of course, makes us super angry. It makes us feel like we've been taken advantage of. And it's easy to see how unfair that is from the outside looking in. For us to be resentful that we're not getting appreciation for something that we were never asked to do in the first place. If you volunteer to help someone, you are offering help where you see an opportunity to help. You have not been directly asked to help, and so gratitude is not part of the arrangement. If you are shown gratitude as a result of volunteering, consider it a nice but unexpected bonus. Be honest about whether you are a gratitude or an appreciation junkie. If you're a gratitude or an appreciation junkie, helping is just another way for you to get a fix. A good rule of thumb, if you are wanting appreciation, gratitude, or attention from someone because you are going to help them, is don't help them in the first place, because you're about to help someone for manipulative reasons. Your reward for helping someone should not be what you're getting from them. It should be what you're getting from the helping in and of itself. On that note, the second shadow of help is the need to be needed, and likewise, the fear of abandonment. On a subconscious level, we know that when we help someone, it binds them to us. It forces them to become dependent on us, and thus unable to leave us. On the extreme ends of the scale of this shadow, we see people who disempower others and who like to keep them sick or unhappy so that they have a guaranteed role in their lives. One example of the extreme side of this shadow is Munchausen syndrome by proxy, whereby a person fulfills their needs for positive attention by hurting someone else, usually their child, so as to keep them in the role of being sick, so that they can gain support and personal attention by taking on a fictitious hero role. If we make people dependent on us, we can ensure that because they need us, they will never abandon us. The third shadow for helping is the desire for leverage. We know that helping is some kind of power. We can put people in a kind of prison where they're indebted to us, where they owe us. This shows up most commonly in the form of us wanting to get something specific from them as a result of helping them. For example, a company may donate money to a politician, not because they actually want to help the politician, but because they expect the politician to help them pass a bill through government which reduces their import-export taxes. Keep in mind that one thing we may want to guarantee to get from others by helping them is alliance. We have all kinds of sayings in society, things like "don't bite the hand that feeds," that tells us that if someone helps you, you are no longer allowed to oppose them. We can use this when we're in the shadow aspect of helping to make someone's hands tied to opposing us, to force them to side with us. When alliance or compliance is what we want, we can use help to put people in a guilt trap. If they oppose us, we can use that help we gave them as leverage. We can use it to get them back in place by holding it over their heads and guilting them back into a place of gratitude, allegiance, and compliance. We can even make them responsible for making us happy by reinforcing the idea that they owe us something for the help that we gave. The fourth shadow aspect of help is self-sacrifice. Now, most people believe that self-sacrificers are completely selfless. This could not be farther from the truth. The definition, basically, of a self-sacrificer is someone who gives up what's in their own best interest for the best interest of others. But in this universe, it's not actually possible. So what is it that the self-sacrificer is getting out of it? The self-sacrificer needs love and approval and attention more than anyone else. And they come in the back door to get it. Self-sacrificers are, in fact, some of the most self-centered people around. They play the martyr so that other people will see them as good and therefore approve of them and love them. They oftentimes even play the martyr so that other people will pity them. Pity can feel like love to people who need badly to be seen as good. By being the victim, they get to be the good one. Self-sacrificers tend to feel the most used. They fall into the victim role of being used by everyone. Sometimes they are actually used, but more often than not, they continually to volunteer themselves to help, even when they're not asked to, and then feel put out as a result. The self-sacrificer projects their lonely, deprived child self onto others, imagining a neediness that may not actually exist. The fifth shadow aspect for those of us who are motivated to help is that we might have a responsibility complex. We don't just take responsibility for ourselves, we also take responsibility for everyone else. Those of us who have a hyper-responsibility complex help for this shadow reason. We are eaten alive by guilt. And so by helping people, we finally get relieved of that intense level of guilt that we are continually dragging around on our backs. If we do not help, we feel as if we're being irresponsible or bad, and we fear that we'll be punished for it. What we need to realize is that it is not our responsibility to help others ever, but it just might be our capability to help others. To use an extreme example, you could drive your children to the side of the road and drop them off and never see them again. Because you could physically do that, that means that it's a choice to take responsibility for them. That means it's not an obligation. It's a capability and a choice you're making to support them. If we choose to do something for someone else, it should be because we are capable of doing it and choose to do it willingly, not because we're obligated to do it because of some illusion of responsibility that we have invested in. The sixth shadow aspect for helping is that those of us who feel drawn to help are often projecting the own need for help that we have inside for ourselves onto other people. Helping other people is a great distraction from our own dysfunction and from our own needs. If we are projecting our own problems onto other people and then helping them with those problems, we do not have to acknowledge them within ourselves. By exaggerating other people's neediness and problems, we can ignore our own neediness and problems. For most of us with a helper complex, we are in denial of the fact that our childhoods contained deep levels of deprivation. We have an internal emptiness where love should be that needs to be filled up. We can feel this childhood aspect of ourselves within us that so badly needs love, approval, appreciation, support, and connection, but instead was overlooked, disregarded, unsupported, and conditionally loved. We want to get away from that inner childhood self. We want to gloss it over, deny it, and make sure that no one else ever sees it. We project this overlooked and helpless, underdog child self onto others and then try to help that reflection. It doesn't work. It's like trying to clean the mirror to get rid of the reflection in the mirror. The internal anguish does not go away. There are, of course, more shadow aspects to help, which I'm sure you'll find out, but I have listed the most common ones in this particular episode today. Now, I want you to keep in mind when you're helping someone that it is possible to have mixed motivation. That means when you're thinking about helping someone, you could have pure positive motives, but you also could have shadow reasons for helping that person. In that case, it's best to acknowledge those shadow aspects so they can't hijack your helping operation, so you can better align with your positive reasons for helping someone. One thing that confuses helpers the most is why people have such a negative reaction sometimes to being helped, assuming, of course, that that person is not just picking up on your negative shadow reasons, your manipulative reasons for helping them. The reason is there is an unintended message that help often sends. It is possible to help someone for the pure positive reasons, because you want to see them happy, because you want to see them line up with that desire, and because seeing that helps you be happy. However, we can also help someone because we see them as powerless. All too often when we give someone help, the message that we're actually sending them is, you can't do it. I don't trust you to do it. I can do it, but you can't do it. It's a helplessness that we reinforce in other people. And of course, they're going to resist that. In other words, help often disempowers people. Have you ever tried to help a 5-year-old child who's in the do-it-myself phase to tie his shoes? The notion of help most likely sent him into a fit because, by saying, let me help you tie your shoes, you reinforce the fact that they were powerless to do it themselves. Disempowerment doesn't feel good to anyone. Sometimes when we get help from other people, when we don't ask for it, we're almost saying, way to tell me what you really think about me. Thanks for the vote of confidence. People don't want help sometimes because in order for them to ask for help or acknowledge that they need help, they have to acknowledge where they are, which can be really grim. Coming around to the realization that they're powerless or compromised in some way is completely scary. Scary enough that many people would rather deny the help and believe that they are better off than they really are. All this being said, when you're presented with the opportunity to help someone, you have to be completely brutally honest with yourself about your true motives for helping someone. And I mean brutally honest with yourself. It's too easy for us to scapegoat by saying, I just want to see them happy, and then slipping into denial of our shadow aspects for helping because we don't want to admit to them. But we have to admit to them if we're going to help people for the right reasons, and we have to admit to them if we want our helping to result in a positive reaction, instead of a negative reaction that makes us feel like we regret even doing it in the first place. In order to discern whether your reasons for helping are in the right place or the wrong place for you, here are some questions which I want you to ask yourself before you seize the opportunity to help someone. 1. What do I want to see happen as a result of my help? 2. Am I lending my energy to the problem or to the solution? 3. What are the positive reasons I have for helping them? 4. What are the negative reasons that I have for helping them? 5. Am I projecting my lonely, deprived self onto others, imagining a neediness that might not actually be there, or may only be partly true? 6. Do they really need my help, or am I subconsciously pushing my own agenda onto them? Once you have owned up to your particular motivation for helping, you will most likely have the answer to whether it's a good idea to help or not to help, and no one can make that decision for you. But here are some tips which will help you discern whether it's a good idea to help or not. Number 1, is the person who you're considering helping going to be receptive to that help or not? Some people will ask you outright for help. Other people would rather die than ask for help. So you need to really be honest with yourself about whether there's a genuine receptivity there, because it's not always so obvious. If it's not obvious how to help someone, ask them how you can help. If it is obvious how to help someone, then swoop in and do it and get out. Don't explain yourself. Don't ask for gratitude. Just give them whatever you feel like is in alignment with their highest good. Number 2, the best kind of help empowers people. So before you go to help someone, ask yourself, is the help that I'm about to give this person going to empower them, or is it going to disempower them? The very best kind of help puts tools in other people's hands so that they can empower themselves towards whatever it is that they desire. 3, get informed. Don't automatically assume that you know what is best for someone. The more informed you are about the other person and about what the other person needs and wants, the easier it will be to decide whether or not you can help them, and if you can help them, how to best help them. Assuming that you know what is best for someone often leads to lending help that is not helpful at all. 4. Make sure that your boundaries are healthy before trying to help someone, or before saying yes to helping someone when you've been asked. If you're struggling with boundaries, watch my YouTube video titled Boundaries versus Oneness: How to Develop Healthy Boundaries. A healthy sense of self will help you to know what is wrong for you and what is right for you personally. It will help you to know whether you are helping for the right reasons or whether you're helping to fulfill some sort of void within you. Developing healthy boundaries is essential when we're approaching energy being lent to another person or energy being taken from another person. Number 5, look yourself in the mirror. Acknowledge the aspects of you that are in need. Acknowledge especially the sides of you that need help. Acknowledge the aspects of you that feel like the underdog and that feel overlooked. Own up to the emptiness inside of you. Find out what you feel deprived of. Come out of denial. Be willing to see your childhood clearly enough to recognize what you were deprived of as a child. If you are thinking, they need my help, turn that around on yourself in these 2 ways. The first is, I need my help. The second is, I need their help. Open your mind to discovering how this is true. Open your mind to discovering how you need your help and how you need their help. And get help for those aspects of yourself. Your main focus should be healing the wound within you. If you do this, those wounds will cease to reflect externally in the world around you. Tip number 6. Know that you can help without really helping at all. You can help by being unconditionally present. This is what we really wanted all along anyways. Because the most painful part about our struggles is not the struggles themselves, it's being alone within those struggles. Other people often do not need us to fix their problems. What they do need us to do is to be unconditionally with them while they navigate their own problems. Think about it. When you were young, you did not want your parents to fix your problems for you. When they did try to fix your problems for you, what message did you receive? Probably the message you received is that there was something inherently wrong with you. It was disempowering. It made you feel terrible about yourself, and as if something had gone wrong about you. This is the message that we so often send people when we try to fix their problems, instead of be unconditionally with them as they navigate their problems. You needed understanding and empathy and their presence. And don't forget, you can also help someone by connecting them with someone else who can help them better than you can. Contributing your energy to someone in the form of help is an exalted demonstration of love. But because this universe is all one, you cannot really ever help someone if you are hurting yourself in the process. Have a good week.